nílé ojú wa tó kó.
mo mọ̀ tún kí yín bó lójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí ọdẹ ọdún bí ọdẹ wa gbogbo ayé mọ̀ dùn lágbára Ọlọ́run gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa pátápátá lórí ìkànnì wa gbogbo yín pátápátá ni mo kí ẹ̀yin ojú tuntun náà ẹ káàbọ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ̀lé ń padà wá wo fídíò wa from time to time gbogbo yín mo kí. Now mo sáré fẹ́ gbé yín débì kan níbi ọjọ́ bíi méjì kan sẹ́yìn mo ṣètò kan tí mo ti sọ̀rọ̀ wípé wọ́n fi foreign reserve wọ́n fi ṣe collateral fowó tán yá oríṣiríṣi comment oríṣiríṣi èébú làwọn èèyàn ń bú àwọn ẹlòmíín ní àó wọn tó ń sọ àwọn ẹlòmíín ní òṣè kinní kan tó ń sọ kò yí ẹ. Now ẹ bá ń pe gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ẹ bá ń pè wọ́n kí wọ́n wá o ẹ bá ń pè wọ́n kí wọ́n wá àwọn onímọ̀ nípa ètò ìṣirò owó ètò ọrọ̀ ajé gbogbo ẹ̀ bó ṣe ń lọ wọ́n wá ẹ rí i pé mo mẹ́nu kan ọ̀rọ̀ kan náà lọ́jọ́ yẹn pé ní there was a time tí ọ̀rọ̀ kan ń jà rìnrìn lẹ̀ wípé wọ́n máa ń print owó ni nígbà ayé Buhari ìjọba Buhari mò ń sọ pé wọ́n máa ń print owó láti máa ṣe gbogbo tí wọ́n ń ṣe ni pé gbèsè ti pọ̀ jù ńlẹ̀ wọn ò wá rówó yá mọ́ ìgbà tí wọn ò rówó yá mọ́ nọ́mbà rìsọ́ọ̀tì pé ó yẹ Emefiele lọ́mọ print owó wá bóò ni gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe jẹ́ ẹ̀yìn ìyẹn súnmọ́ bíi ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rí i pé náírà kan ń fọ́ ṣeré ni náírà ń fọ́ ṣeré lójoojúmọ́ kí ló fà á tó fi di pé náírà fi ń fọ́ ṣeré lójoojúmọ́ ó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ pé wọ́n fi foreign reserve ìyàwó àbí wọ́n fi foreign reserve ìyàwó mo sọ nǹkan kan lọ́jọ́ yẹn pé 40.7% of Nigerian foreign reserve wọ́n ti fi ṣe nǹkan kan ṣùgbọ́n kí ni wọ́n fi ṣe ẹ súnmọ́ bíi mo ní fọ́nrán kan tí mo mú látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn channel television tó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí níbi tí wọ́n ti fọ́ kẹ́kẹ́ ẹ wá gbá wọn àṣírí ṣé wọ́n print owó àbí wọn ò print owó ẹ súnmọ́ bíi senate president tó kọjá làwa ní rọ́bà stamp senate president báwọn kan tiẹ̀ ṣe kí ẹ̀ Emefiele kàn náwó ẹ̀rí níbi tó fi central bank ilẹ̀ dé wọ́n kàn ń ṣe tó wù wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń dájọba ara wọn ṣe kò sẹ́ni tó yẹ̀ wọ́n lọ́wọ́ wò débi pé wọ́n ti rún Nàìjíríà tẹ́ bá tún wá gbà wọ́n àṣírí eléyìí ẹ̀rù ó bà yín kódà wọ́n sọ débi wípé ṣe rówó náírà tí ń já lọlẹ̀ yẹn yóò sì pé kàn kò sí mọ́ ìfẹ́ ṣe pé yóò sì wọ 1,500 naira per dollar ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ò dùn lẹ́nu tèmi gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ pátápátá ẹ súnmọ́ bí ẹ tún wá gbà wọ́n àṣírí tuntun eléyìí sàròsọ eléyìí jẹ́ part 2 program yìí tí mo wọ́n ṣe yẹn àwọn òtítọ́ mi tó jẹ́ òdodo ó tó ti fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀ ẹ máa bọ̀ bóò ni wọ́n ṣe kó Nàìjíríà tó kó wàhálà tí ò lè bọ́ ńbẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n só lè bọ́ ńbẹ̀ ṣá kò dùn lẹ́nu tèmi ó yá ẹ̀yin èèyàn ẹ gbọ́rọ̀ yìí síwájú ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tí Ṣeun Ọ̀kínbalóyè pẹ̀lú àlejò tó gbé wá sí politics today tí wọ́n sọ ó yá òun rèé.
mo ti mọ ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó gbà ẹ́.
mo ti mọ wọ́n.
ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó tàbí dáká. mo ti mọ ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó ní ìkáyé. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì yìí ga jù.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o ká pọ́n ẹ̀kọ́ ká pọ́n èkuru ká pọ́n mọ́ínmọ́ín ó ti kú òǹtà náà. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ti rí àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tuntun wọ̀lú lọ́nà ìgbàlódé láti gbé àwọn oúnjẹ wa lárugẹ bíi mọ́ínmọ́ín ẹ̀kọ agidi àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ti wọ̀lú ìrédè bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni gbogbo ohun èlò Mojísọ́lá fún oúnjẹ kò ní èròjà tó lè ṣara níjàmbá rárá o. àti wípé Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ń wá alágbàtà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Amẹ́ríkà Canada àti ní gbogbo Europe pátápátá. iléeṣẹ́ Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì wà nílùú Chicago. ẹ sì lè kàn sí wa lórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ alátagbà wa tàbí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayélujára wa ìyẹn www.mojisolakukipouch.com tàbí mojisolakukipouch@usa.com MJ Pouch lẹ́ ó ti kàn sí wa lórí Instagram. ẹ lè pe Mojísọ́lá Pouch sórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí +1 872 314 6127 ẹ̀gbọ́n lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí +1 872 314 6127. Mojísọ́lá Pouch ìrọ̀rùn fún ṣíṣe àpọ́nlé oúnjẹ lọ́nà ìgbàlódé.
Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì yìí ga jù.
Governor of Edo State once said that the government was printing money. A lot of people perhaps may be wondering what exactly does that mean. It emerged also how and the manner in which the Ways and Means was being passed and supported by the National Assembly and heavily criticized. Mr. Paul Alaje is the chief economist as the SPM professionals. He joins us live here on the program to give us an insight on this. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Alaji, for joining us.
Thank you so very much for having me.
So I like to take this for the sake of our viewers tonight, most of them who are not expert in your field, to break it down in a way that they can easily understand tonight and what has emerged from that CBN report. This is the first report in about 7 years. That means we're looking at whatever happened under the Buhari government. This is the first time we are publicly knowing the details of what happened financially, what the Apex Bank does. How often, statutorily, releases financial report?
So very much once again, from annual basis, once every year, the central bank is mandated by the Act to release the reports of the activities of central bank, especially the financial activities of the central bank under.
Now, ẹ má bínú o, mo ṣì máa sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀, ẹ mọ̀ màá gbìyànjú láti máa ẹ rí pé òyìnbó ni wọ́n ń sọ. Now, torí àwọn bàbá wa àwọn màmá wa táwọn náà ń wo channel wa tó yẹ pé ẹ get wọn ò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí ọ̀fẹ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ó ṣe èbó kò ṣe èbó. Now, ẹ jẹ́ sáré chip in kankan. Ṣé mọ̀ wípé according to ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ń sọ, wọ́n ní nígbà ayé ìjọba Buhari kò sígbà tí wọ́n ṣe financial stuff wọn tí wọ́n publish sí gbogbo ayé rí, kò sí. Ẹ rí i pé ìwà àbàjẹ́ yẹn wá gbilẹ̀ débi pé àwọn central bank kì í ṣe tó wọ́n 7 years ago ni wọ́n ti ṣe last, wọ́n wá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó ṣe ń sìn ní tó yẹ kí wọ́n máa ṣe lọ́dọọdún. Now àwọn senate ìyẹn ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin tí wọ́n yẹ kí wọ́n máa bójútó ọ̀rọ̀ kí ni wọ́n ń pè central bank, kí wọ́n máa monitor affairs gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe mẹ́, àwọn ò rántí rubber stamp làwọn ní tí Buhari bá ti gbé lọ sọ́dọ̀ wọn òun náà ṣe kíni náà ń buwọ́lù bó bá ṣe fẹ́ náà ni wọ́n ṣe kíni ni wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe. Ẹ rí gbogbo sọ pé senate president rubber stamp tí wọ́n pè wọ́n ń pè rubber stamp, ẹ gbọ́ kẹ̀kẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ àtẹ̀síwájú láti máa gbọ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n ń sọ.
We had this report on annual basis under the governor before Governor Emefiele, the suspended governor of the central bank. We had this report almost actually every year. That's under the Emir Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi. It was released every year. But you see, we started seeing a different trend. First from Ways and Means, and you know that the Ways and Means, the information were not really together. So with the report, there are a lot of revelation and a lot of concerns. Number one, that the report that the authorities, I mean Central Bank of Nigeria, has actually published all the while is not correct. We have always thought that when it comes to foreign reserve, Nigeria is between $34 billion to $38 billion, not knowing that significant part of that money, about 40.7% of the money, it's actually not, it's actually under lending, and the money should be returned. Now, apart from that, there is nothing wrong with foreign reserve is not money that you will go and spend. It's actually money that you can use to defend your currency when attack comes. But when you now look at the kind of borrowing we have done, the question is, has that borrowing been approved by the Senate? None that I'm aware of.
And this is foreign borrowing.
And it's foreign borrowing. Two.
And it's 15 billion in 2 banks.
Yes.
In 1 year.
In 1 year. Is the Debt Management Office aware? It's not in their report. Recall that Ways and Means was not in the report. It was it completely disappeared.
Not captured at all.
Captured at all in the report shared in the DMO's office.
Which is against the financial laws of the country.
It's completely.
And that was what raised the queries by some Nigerians to say, why would the Senate do what they termed as illegal when they know that this has not been properly captured, isn't it?
That's very correct. The Senate had to clean the mess in a way. And even the mess the Senate cleaned, what if it happens again? We have an acting central bank governor. What is going on in central bank today? Not so many people are aware of that. But here is the question. If we have a Senate that is supposed to perform oversight function on a central bank for 7 years, and the Senate was unable, did not get any reports, and there is nobody that said anything significant from members of the Senate for 7 years. Everybody just assumed everything was fine until very recently that this report came to limelight.
So this report is coming, Mr. Alaje, amid the investigation that the former chairman of the Financial Reporting Council, I know you know him very well, is heading. We all understand this is not even being put so much the details of what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be an independent investigator into that matter. And this is coming up. Do you think that that's propelled to release, or do you think the executive had pushed the CBN under the acting governor to push this out?
I think so. I think it is the executive that, especially the person leading the investigation, the independent investigator, it's important for us to know what actually happened, and that is why we are seeing some of these reports.
So let's take it one after the other. Yeah.
Okay. And if we have seen this report, maybe we would have a way of salvaging Nigeria from getting deep in the current economic mess. So today, if those banks' term of borrowing elapses, and they lapse, and they say they need.
Now, láti ṣàlàyé àwọn kankan mẹ́yẹn, ẹ máa rí wípé a gbé ìròyìn kan bí ọjọ́ bíi mélòó kan sẹ́yìn, kì í ṣọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ìgan, níbi tá a ti gbọ́ wípé wọ́n ti wá private investigator tó máa wo central bank fẹ́nẹ́fẹ́nẹ́ pé bí wọ́n ṣe náwó, bí wọ́n ṣe ṣèjọba wọn láàrin ọdún 8 sẹ́yìn wípé now ó ní wọ́n ń sọ ń bì wípé ó dàbí wípé investigator tí wọ́n yàn ń bẹ̀ láṣìírí yẹn ti ń tú náà tó wá wò pé òkè káràlú má bàa wà lókùnkùn ẹjẹ́ á fún wọn ní díẹ̀díẹ̀ gbọ́ nínú tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ohun tó fi ti central bank nìyẹn wípé ó yá ẹ publish financial report yín láti bí ọdún bíi 8 sẹ́yìn tẹ́ jẹ́ pé ọdún 7 sẹ́yìn lẹ ti ṣe ó yá iṣẹ́ lọ́dún yìí òun lẹ fi rí tó fi jẹ́ pé àwọn kìnìyàn ó ṣe kíni ó ń jáde síta díẹ̀díẹ̀ ẹjá mọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ẹ gbọ́ wẹ́rẹ̀wẹ́rẹ̀.
Their money back. You know what will happen to Naira?
What will happen?
Naira will get devalued because we don't have anything to defend. They are 40% of your
all the
instruments.
shots, all the defenses,
yes, so
all the securities.
If it goes off, what do you think will happen? Naira under this current regime may go as poor as 1,500 to $1. Already we are battling between 920 to 1,000. Government have said we want to allow forces of demand and supply. The acting central bank.
Now, ẹ má gbàgbé wọ́n sọ nǹkan kan bí nsìn tó dàbí pé bóyá ẹ lórí ọ̀fẹ́ àti gbọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ìrora gbé sẹ́yìn díẹ̀ kẹ́ lè gbọ́ bẹ̀yẹn dáadáa, which is ibi tá ń lọ. Wọ́n ṣàlàyé ń bí nsìn wípé 40.7% of Nigeria foreign reserves wípé wọ́n ti ṣe kíni wọ́n ti fi dúró torí àwọn kan jáde wọ́n ń sọ ohun tójú tí wọ́n ò mọ̀. Foreign reserve yẹn ó ní wọ́n ń lò láti máa in case of any attack ni wọ́n fi ń dúró ti náírà pé kí náírà kó má bàa fọ́ ìyákátá. Now roughly let's say roughly 50%, 40.7% of it kò sí ńbẹ̀ mọ́ because they are claiming wípé foreign reserve Nigeria is between 36 and 38 billion dollar which wọ́n claim fún wa nìyẹn until tí report CBN tó jáde la tó mọ̀ pé owó tí central bank ní òtó yẹn wípé out of the money tí wọ́n claim pa wọn ní 40.7% of the money wọ́n ti fi ṣe onídùúró òun wá ń sọ sí pé táwọn tó lówó tán bá láwọn fẹ́ gbowó àwọn automatically that 40.7% of the actual money tí Nàìjíríà ní mbẹ̀ wọ́n máa yọ tán bá máa remove percent yẹn kúrò mẹ́mọ́ èlò ló máa kù ṣókàtí ẹ̀ tó 18 billion tó kù mọ́ pé dín ní ìyẹn tí náírà tó ṣe ń ṣe kíni tó ṣe ń já wálẹ̀ wípé tíjọba yìí ò bá ṣe kíni ẹ̀rí pé àwọn Buhari ọ̀run Nàìjíríà. Now ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́mi wá ń sọ ń jọ yẹn lélẹ̀ wípé ìjọba ti dé wọ́n ti rí ṣòro ayégẹ́tẹ̀mí wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé ìjọba Buhari àwọn bá yé Nàìjíríà jẹ́ gan-an run pé kò sí nǹkan kan mọ́. Now kí wá ló wá tẹ̀kì ìjọba pé òkè Buhari ó lẹ́jọ́ jẹ́ o tó bá ṣe é ṣe kí South Africa kan náà lájọ wà kí wọ́n pe ààrẹ wọn kí wọ́n pè lẹ́jọ́ kí wọ́n sọ sẹ́wọ̀n. Ẹ má gbàgbé US náà Donald Trump ń jẹ́jọ́ lọ́wọ́ bí òkàn tí ẹ fẹ́ lọ tibẹ̀ yẹn ó jìnnà ṣùgbọ́n tá Africa àárí yẹn kì í dẹ̀ ṣe South Africa nìkan ló ti wáyé but mo lè lo example ti South Africa pé former president wọn wọ́n ló hùwà bàjẹ́ ó kówó jẹ ó ṣe rádaràda wọ́n gbàjù sí ilé ẹjọ́ nígbà tí ilé ẹjọ́ sì dájọ́ wọ́n ló jẹ̀bi wọ́n gbàjù sẹ́wọ̀n. now kí wá ló wá tẹ̀kì ìjọba náà kí ó jẹ́ pé kíni wọ́n ti rún Nàìjíríà sẹ́ ibo ni wọ́n kó gbogbo owó yẹn sí wọn tí ì ná ibì kan ni wọ́n kó sí ẹ rí i pé wọ́n kàn ń yáwó lọ wọ́n kàn ń yáwó lọ wọ́n kàn ń yáwó lọ àwọn sẹ́nẹ̀tì ilé náà tún wá dé àwọn náà ò tún sensitive sí gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ àwọn náà ń ra mọ́tò 40 billion àwọn náà ń gba palliatives wọ́n tún ń pínwó holiday ọlọ́run ṣàánú wa ó yá ẹ̀yà tún gbọ́ síwájú díẹ̀ sí ibi tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ gbọ́ yẹn gan kẹ́ ẹ lè gbọ́ dáadáa.
I think it is the executive that, especially the person leading the investigation, the independent investigator, it's important for us to know what actually happened, and that is why we are seeing some of these reports.
So let's take it one after the other. Yeah.
Okay. And if we have seen this report, maybe we would have a way of salvaging Nigeria from getting deep in the current economic mess. So today, if those banks term of borrowing elapses, and they lapse and they say they need their money back, you know what will happen to Naira?
What will happen?
Naira will get devalued because we don't have anything to defend. We are 40% of your
all the shots, all the defenses,
yes, so
all the securities.
If it goes off, what do you think will happen? Naira under this current regime may go as poor as 1,500 to $1. Already, we are battling between 920 to 1,000. Government have said we want to allow forces of demand and supply. The acting central bank governor mentioned that between 18 to 20 billion that came in the name of remittances was not going to the official window. How will it go to official window? And this is the question I like to ask. If I give you $1,000 today, where will you take it to? Commercial bank to give you at 750 or parallel market to give you at 920? Chances are, you don't need to answer. I don't want to put you on the spot. You are the one interviewing me. Chances are very high that you will take it to the parallel market. Why? Because you're a rational being. So if we say we are unifying, and we say that it's not unification because you cannot unify. What supply? You see, I wish we had time to talk about the real solutions. You see, the challenge we have is the supply side. If we make a proclamation that we are unifying, yes, you can say any window should keep devaluing up to any amount. The question is, have we been able to stop the roller coaster? Have we been able to solve the real challenge? The real challenge has not been solved. Crude is our major means of earning. We don't have control over the price. 1, 2, a lot of theft is going on within the Niger Delta region where we milk some of these resources from. Third, the other natural resource that we have, we don't even have data as to what is going on right now in Elisha, what is going on right now in Zamfara. We don't even have data as to how many gold in their volumes, other natural mineral resources are extracted from the soil of Nigeria. And we wonder, because some of them are taken out of Nigeria even by air, without any record, and it is what you export that will boost the value of your currency.
Let me take some of these major issues one after the other. But I mean, I like to see this because sometimes you go to see a medical doctor, you go through a test, and you want to ask a question. The doctor tells you there are two news. One is bad, one is good. And I like to have an understanding of your own summary of the state that the CBN is right now. How bad is it?
Well, I think
with what we know now.
Yeah, with what we know, the Central Bank of Nigeria is in a very horrible situation financially. A very, very horrible situation. One, the bank has lost control of what the exchange rate should be. Not just because the president say, let us float. I think if the president had asked this information, there would have been a rethink before making that statement. If the president...
Hey, yeah. Now, can you see? Ẹgbọ́n nǹkan tí máa yìí sọ. Ó ní Central Bank pé ipò tó wà báyìí ó burú jáì. Wọ́n lágbára mọ́, kò sí nǹkan kan. Mọ̀ bí tó burú jù. Mi ò gbọ́rú ẹ̀ rí. Mo léyàn kan tó sọ tó jẹ́ ẹni tó ti ṣiṣẹ́ ní Central Bank tí mo mọ̀ tó sọ fún mi. Ó ní agbára tí wọ́n gbélé Central Bank lọ́wọ́ kó ti pọ̀ jù. Wípé wọ́n fi wọ́n lẹ̀ ní. Àwọn ni wọ́n ń ṣe tó wù wọ́n bẹ̀. Ìgbà wo dẹ̀ ní gbogbo yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà ayé Buhari. Torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe kíni? Wọ́n fẹ́ lu Emefiele. Ẹ rí pé Emefiele náà ń bẹ́ gìlàgìlà. Kí ni mo ń gbìyànjú láti sọ? Ó ní wípé ẹgbọ́n nǹkan kan tí màá yẹn mẹ́nu kan. wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn àlùmọ́nì ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n kàn ṣe kí ni wọ́n ń jí kó ni, wọ́n ń jí kó ni gold, wọ́n ń jí kó. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ń lọ sọ́nà ọ̀nà Oǹdó, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ dé bí Òṣù àbí bí wọ́n ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀, ó láwọn àlùmọ́nì nǹkan tí wọ́n ń jí wà ńbẹ̀, àwọn gold, àwọn òkúta iyebíye tí wọ́n ń jí wà, àmọ́ ibi tí wọ́n ń kó lọ. Ṣé báwọn kan ló wà behind ẹ̀? Now ẹ wá wo gbogbo tójú àwọn ọmọ ìlú rí, just few people and you know them. Ẹ wo situation àti jẹun fẹ́lómi ńlé ní Nàìjíríà ó difficult. Ẹni tó bá lọ́mọ méjì tó lọ́mọ mẹ́ta so easy ni. Kí ló fà á? Torí àwọn ọmọ arúgbó, àwọn ajẹnirun. Now gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wà ńbẹ̀, ṣe báwọn mínísítà kan ló wà ńbẹ̀, ṣe báwo láwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n lò, àwọn èèyàn rìn freely káàkiri ńsìn, wọ́n rìn freely, gbogbo owó tí wọ́n kó, àwọn òyìnbó amúnisìn lẹ́rú wa náà, ẹ get àwọn náà ń wá, wọ́n ń kó gbogbo àlùmọ́nì ilẹ̀ wa, wọ́n ń kó lọ bó ṣe wù wọ́n, àwọn ni wọ́n ń control wa. Lágbára, ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láfíríkà ńsìn. Now if you look at what is going on ní kí ló ń pè ní Niger, ntí ò yí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ntáwọn èèyàn fi gbàjọba, wọ́n ń sọ, they said it categorically wípé ẹni tí wọ́n fi jẹ president wọn Bazoum wípé is from minority, ní tí wọ́n sọ ni wípé minority pé ẹ̀yà Arab ni, wípé àwọn táwọn jọmọ ń lù gan àwọn ò láṣẹ lórí ìlú àwọn. Now kí wá ló ń play out ń sìn, ló ń play out, ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ síwájú, ẹ mọ̀ pé rẹ́rẹ́ ti rún jìnnà.
That is information, because everything revolves around the exchange rate. And remember the core mandate of central bank, price control, which is price stability, I beg your pardon, price stability, not price control, and exchange rate stability. With the revelation that we have, with how monies were released, among other things that we'll see discover in this report, the Central Bank of Nigeria should be restructured. And I want to say that we may need to even adopt what England is using, removing the regulatory body from the central bank and allowing, maybe splitting it into two. One to focus directly on the commercial bank regulation, another to focus on the functions of government. Because mixing the two together, honestly, it's giving us a lot of issues.
So when you say that the CBN is in a terrible situation right now, one of the things that I know also inspire investment and also inflow is confidence rating. You will be treated badly or otherwise if you have your stance or your status, the credit bureau will check whether or not you can get a certain loan or not. And the rating of the CBN has been terribly impaired. That is part of the report.
Yes, so the rating is impaired, even the rating of our country, if not because of some of the policies that we started seeing some review taking Nigeria from negative to stable. It has been horrible. And I can tell you that even rating agencies don't have access to this report before the last rating went on. Now, when you look at what the central bank has done, there's no rating agency that can score us high, because when you have security lending, it's supposed to be for short term, and the monies, it's like using some security to guarantee some borrowings. But in this case, the borrowing itself, it comes at a cost we are paying. Two, it now forms substantial parts of our reserve. Third, what happens to all the remittances? Fourth, we spent 141 billion naira on two policies. On two policies. One, RT 2000, that is repatriation of about $200 billion into Nigeria, which was not successful. Two, giving, I think, extra 5 naira to everyone that brings $1 to the central bank, which was another failure. But those two policies got, according to that report, 141 billion naira. Do you know the implication of that? Again, look at the central bank. Nobody has, until recently, has known what was paid in salaries. Do you know that even the central bank as a body might have earned in allowances and salaries more than the Senate of Nigeria? But what is common for people to say is to criticize the Senate. I am not saying the Senate is right or wrong. I'm not taking a position for or against the Senate. I'm just saying that it is nice when these publications are made regularly, and if it is not made regularly, those in government must ask those responsible to be accountable, not just to them.
ẹgbọ́n nǹkan tí màá yẹn sọ wọ́n ní wọ́n fi central bank ilẹ̀ ni get nobody is checking them. Mo rántí ìgbà tá a wà ní secondary school a ṣe topic kan London government wọ́n máa ń pè ní check and balance. Check and balance ó wà between 3 arms of government. We have executive, legislature and judiciary. Wọ́n máa ń ṣe kí ni wọ́n ń check ara wọn. They are checking. Yeah. But iṣẹ́ tó yẹ káwọn senator ṣe àwọn èèyàn ò ṣe ibẹ̀ rí wọn tó ń pín rubber stamp yìí tó kọjá lọ. Àwọn rubber stamp yìí tó kọjá lọ kí ló kàn wọ́n? Wọ́n kàn ṣe kí ni wọ́n kàn ń pínwó ni. Torí ẹ̀ tẹ́ bá wo gbogbo situation ẹ rí pé àwọn olóṣèlú ẹ̀mí ò dẹ́fẹ̀ rí kò sí solutions. I don't believe in solution wọn ló wà fọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà bí tán ti bá yí everything jẹ́ dé. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn kan ló wà ń di ẹ̀ ẹ get ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn kan ló ṣe but willingness láti kó gbogbo wọn sọ wà pàdípàdí ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀ síwájú díẹ̀ sí jàre.
This is financial report.
Yeah, thank you so very much once again for having me. The Central Bank Act is very clear. On annual basis, once every year. I'm just saying that it is nice when these publications are made regularly, and if it is not made regularly, those in government must ask those responsible to be accountable, not just to them, but to all of us.
Let's anchor. And in 30 seconds, I'm being told that we need to anchor now. And we need to wrap up. So, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki was right when he said they were printing money.
I spoke to your colleague on News at 10 when he made that comment. I remember I was in your studio. He was right. Printing money does not mean going to print paper. The activity of central bank is printing money.
Mo ti mọ ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó gbà. Mo ti mọ wọ́n. Ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó lámì àlá. Mo ti mọ ilé iṣẹ́ kan tó ní ìtúráyé. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì yìí ga jù.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o kápún ẹ̀kọ́ kápún ìkúrú kápún mọ́ínmọ́ín ó ti kú òǹtà náà. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ti rí àrà ọ̀tọ̀ tuntun wọ̀lú lọ́nà ìgbàlódé láti gbé àwọn oúnjẹ wa lárugẹ bíi mọ́ínmọ́ín ẹ̀kọ́ agidi àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ti wọ̀lú ìrédè. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni gbogbo ohun èlò Mojísọ́lá fún oúnjẹ kò ní èròjà tó lè ṣara níjàmbá rárá o. Àti wípé Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì ń wá alágbàtà lórílẹ̀‐èdè Amẹ́ríkà, Canada àti ní gbogbo Europe pátápátá. Ilé-iṣẹ́ Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì wà nílùú Chicago. Ẹ sì lè kàn sí wa lórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ alátagbà wa tàbí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ayélujára wa. Ìyẹn www.mojisolakukipaush.com tàbí mojisolakukipaush@usa.com. MJ Paush lẹ́ ó ti kàn sí wa lórí Instagram. Ẹ lè pe Mojísọ́lá Paush sórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí +1 872 314 6127. Ẹ̀gbọ́n lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí +1 872 314 6127. Mojísọ́lá Paush ìrọ̀rùn fún ṣíṣe àpọ́nlé oúnjẹ lọ́nà ìgbàlódé.
Mojísọ́lá pa òṣì yìí ga jù.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn lórí ìbò lọ̀rọ̀ dé dúró ìbò ló dé dúró ẹ jẹ́ sáré play fọ́nrán yẹn tán a ṣe ń tẹ̀síwájú.
Printing money.
They controlled security and printing men. That's
Exactly.
part of the,
so but what the
agency.
governor was saying was not printing literally. So what he's saying is that there was quantitative easing.
So
that
part
was
of
going
part
on,
of the
which
report
is very
shows,
correct.
Mr. Alaji, which is what I'm bringing you to, is the fact that the report reveals that the bank has been funding federal government budget deficit for several years within this period.
I agree 100%. And
also,
you could see that through via the Ways and Means that was illegally as against what the act mentioned that the central bank should do. The central bank has been doing that. It was the Senate that tried to cover up for the Central Bank of
And the
Nigeria.
cover-up, it shows that the lending to the government consider about 74% of the loan and receivables, and those experts have criticized that this was a major impairment on our economy.
You see, the Nigeria economy went through the worst states in the last 8 years in terms of economy. Now, President Buhari might have done all that in infrastructure, but when it comes to economic management, we have never had this bad in the history of the country.
In one sentence, how can Tinubu correct this?
Well, first of all, he needs to focus on the supply side. And that supply side is a lot. It's not what I can conclude in one set. I will be at time for solution. What the challenge we have is supply in agro, supply in production, supply in manufacturing, supply in investment, etc., etc. Supply side is a robust conversation that we cannot even discuss within 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes. It's a huge conversation because we need to look at our problem critically and start asking questions. How do we boost supply, which includes, for instance, let me give you one of the things that came to mind, which is...
ọ̀pọ̀rọ̀ òkágbọ̀n ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ rí wọ́n ní gómìnà ló sọ wọ́n ń pírìntì owó àwọn kan wá yá wọ́n á jáde ẹ̀ ń sọ̀sọ̀kùsọ̀ ìjọba Buhari yìí ìjọba tó wà ń ta gan sí gan ilé òkè sọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo àná yàtọ̀ àti gbọ́n tó sọ tó bá tún dìgbà mí á tún mọ̀ pàdé bó kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa ẹ bá mi share kó go viral ẹ jẹ́ ó rìn dáadáa yóò dáa fún gbogbo wa láṣẹ ìgbà míì là á tún pàdé lórí ètò ẹ ṣé o ó dàbọ̀ ó dìgbà kan náà.
Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni ó online tv táráyé ń gbọ́. Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni ó online tv táwọn ayé ń wo. ẹ̀tún gbẹ̀kẹ̀ ń gbọ́. Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni wọ́n gbọ́ káàkiri. online tv táráyé ń gbọ́. Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni online tv àwọn ayé ń wo. àní bó jẹ́ ti ká pèdé àsìkò bó jẹ́ ti ká kàròyìn bó ṣe ń lọ o káàkiri àgbáyé ọ̀gá ni wọ́n o láwùjọ sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ kíkẹ́ olóbùrò kójọ́ tẹ́ yẹ́kẹ́yẹ́. àní nílùú London wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa. àní l'Amẹ́ríkà o wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa. ní gbogbo Yúróòpù pátá wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa. ọmọ Yorùbá ní diaspora wọ́n ń gbọ́ wa. ojú wa tó lé ojú wa tó kó ọjà tábà tún wá polówó láráyé fẹ́ràn. Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni ó online tv táráyé ń gbọ́. Àràbà tẹlifíṣàn ni ó online tv